Because we get into trouble too.
Yeah. So there's really nothing we can do at this point.
No.
Yeah.
All right, I'd like to call the Albany Selectmen's meeting to order for December 4, 2024 at 4:30. We all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, guys, I will get out of your hair then.
Yeah, I mean, if you need any information, I mean, don't hesitate to get a hold of Alyssa or, you know, I'll
She's
help out
gonna be
wherever I can.
so sick of me before we go in. I won't even.
Well, you know, keep us informed too.
Yeah, no, see, there's lots of things I'd like to do, but I don't wanna, I wanna do them right.
So let us help you work through it.
Yeah, all right, thank you, guys.
Take care.
Yep.
Before new business, can we jump right to our first appointment?
I have no objection to that because of the weather that's coming and
Yep.
she's got some traveling to do and
Appreciate that.
she's gonna just bring us up to speed as to what she does for us. And the reason we wanted you to come in, and not to
No, go
take
for it.
your place
No.
in this, is I'm back at being a selectman after being away, and this was since I got
Okay.
done. I don't know what you do,
And I'm new.
and
so-
he's new,
There we go.
Yeah.
and she's new, and, you know, we weren't planning on a snowstorm either, so.
No, yeah, that's fine, no, absolutely, I'm happy to come to board meetings, we'll do it for many
Yeah.
other municipalities as well, of course.
Yeah, yeah, if you could give us a, you know, a brief
Just a
overview of
little
what you do
Yeah.
and whatnot. I mean, we're doing budgets right now and we have to answer to the people out in
Right.
the hall at town meeting and whatnot, and we don't wanna look like people that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and so you
So-
know what you're paying for as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you
Um,
have any literature that you can leave with us, that'd be good
Yeah,
too. Or send
absolutely.
us, or.
And I have all the stuff that you had sent me. as
Okay,
well,
so I have some of that as well.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of the contract? Because I can send that over to you as well.
I don't have it with me right now.
Right, but just generally.
Well, we
I'm
saw,
sure Kelly does.
we
you
saw,
know.
didn't we see them at a previous
Yeah,
meeting?
it was in a previous meeting. And
Yeah,
We had the
there was a lot of different.
or were they the
estimate,
invoices?
that was the
estimates?
invoices and the
All right.
Correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, when I looked at it, it almost looked like there was duplicates or overlapping
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
that confused me, so.
So what you have now.
We're easily confused.
Basically, we know Kelly from Greenville, and then we knew Kelly in Wakefield as well. So
Yep.
she's, you know, worked with us for a while in her career. So when she came here, she realized that, you know, Albany wasn't set up with an IT company and that things were a little bit distraught when
That
it
was-
came to the computer system.
That was back on my last term.
Right, yeah, so she asked me to come up and take a look. But basically, right now, we have an annual contract, that's, I believe it's around March or April, it's probably at the town meeting, it's when we end up signing it. That includes like antivirus, backups, monitoring on the computers, it includes, you know, any kind of help desk, remote support and on-site support, unlimited, you know, 24-hour if needed. Obviously, we still work with the town clerks on the weekends and things like that, or when they're here after hours.
So it's for both offices?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. I have a list of the computers here, if that would be helpful as well.
No, I know where they all are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one that I have a question mark on right now is the old TA
So
laptop.
she is still consulting and she is still using.
So that's technically still town owned.
Yes,
Okay.
oh yeah, keep that on the
So
list.
we'll keep that on the contract, okay. And they can go with that. I think we had taken it off, but we should put it back on if it's still.
Well, we don't know at this point how long we're gonna keep her next year as a consulting long distance.
Right. So, you know, whenever you're ready to give up the laptop, just let me know.
Let you know.
But
Okay.
ideally, what we'd wanna do is take it, remove the hard drive and dispose of the hard drive. We have like a military grade overwrite and then we actually physically destroy the hard drives.
Oh,
Yeah.
use the same people Clinton did?
Oh. No, we actually use a drill press that we have in our office.
Oh, okay. The
But-
truth comes out.
Yeah. But just to make sure that, you know, in case she has any kind of personnel information or anything like that.
Now, do you have remote access where you can get on our computers to
Yes.
correct? Oh, okay.
Yep,
That's-
yeah, so that's
okay.
actually, for us, a huge part of what we do is remote work.
Gotcha.
With the remote access, we don't have to
Yeah.
come on site for, you know, most issues.
I have similar software with other companies for my own business.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And it's nice, they can get on and you just
Yeah.
watch them work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot easier. We don't have
Yeah.
to come up here for, you know, every little thing that
Yeah.
goes wrong, so. But basically, yeah, that's what we're providing for you right now. The contract does list, you know, all of the services out that are included under that, and like I said, I can send that to you so you can have some, just in case you guys don't have a copy. The other thing I do is normally, like, once a year, you know, I'll get together and just go over recommendations for the upcoming budget season. Most of it is focused on cybersecurity right now, just, that's kind of the big word at the moment. We've seen a lot of municipalities, especially small ones, that are targeted for things like ransomware, like specifically because you're small and you don't have enterprise grade security, right? So in your case though, there are still some like leftover things that are just upgrades, you know, that should be done. Like one we've been sitting on for a little while are the Microsoft 365 email migration. I do have a little sheet that I can give you guys as well. Basically, the type of email you're on right now is like an outdated sort of system, right? Greenlight has a server that they host your emails on, but it's not stored in the cloud, it's stored locally on all of your devices. So say, you know, your desktop has a hard drive issue and it's completely blown. We can't recover that data. You know, the other thing is that it's really, you can only access it on that one computer as far as your full email file. With the 365 Exchange accounts, you would have shared calendars, shared mailboxes, things like that. So say you have a vacation calendar or select board meeting calendar or anything. Storage allowances are much higher, you know, just, and then of course there's all kinds of security standards that are more up to par with Microsoft 365 than what you have through the current account. Now, this was something that we had already gone through a bit of an approval process with, but I had recommended to Kelly at the time that if we're gonna do the migration, then we move you to a .gov domain at the same time. So right now you're albanynh.org. There's another sheet too. Basically, the federal government is pushing everybody to move to a .gov if you're related to a municipality, because they wanna make sure that you're using email addresses and a website that look legitimate. Somebody can go buy.
They want to spy too.
They can't get into anything, but.
Don't bet your life on it.
Yeah, I know. Well, supposedly. But so, you know, someone can go by like albanyNewHampshire.com and just start sending off emails and pretend that they're a select board member or that they're the town administrator, you know what I mean? So they want to make
Yeah.
sure everybody's using .gov. There's also more security features that are involved in that as well.
You mean there's bad people in the world?
We have lots of them, yes, especially when it comes to
Now,
cybersecurity.
what are the costs for doing, you know, you talked about the 365 migration.
So.
What are we looking at for cost? Probably give us an idea, because we're in the middle of budgets right now.
Yes, yep.
And a lot of that will depend on
What's
what we
available
can
for budget,
afford
yeah.
to spend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with the .gov, my recommendation was to do them at the same time, because otherwise you're gonna have to pay us again to
Yeah,
do the
no,
.gov. application,
I
so.
understand that.
But basically I had 12 accounts listed. I'm not sure how many you have now or if that number is still approximately accurate, but I can reach out to Greenlight and find out as well. But basically, so the one-time fee to migrate the accounts is $100 per mailbox, so $1,200 one time. And then the annual fee for the 12 mailboxes is $792.
$7.92 or?
$792
For all the boxes.
for all 12.
I tried.
So that's all that information.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And what kind of time frame does that, I mean, is that a time frame that?
So we're scheduling into 2025 now, so probably like February or something, if you decided to move forward with it. It's not that, you know, it's a pretty easy process, especially with those few accounts. And we
Okay.
work with Greenlight a lot, so it'd be pretty easy for us to switch everything over. basically what we do is just create the Microsoft 365 account, and then we take your current email files and upload it into their system. And then what we'll do is, if we do the .gov move at the same time, we'll make sure that you have aliases, so like you'll still receive email that comes from albanynh.org
Okay.
to your inbox. The problem with Greenlight right now is that if you move to .gov, you would have to pay for both email addresses, because they don't have the ability to set up those aliases with the email system that they're
Right.
on.
Now, the prices you gave us, does that include setting up for the .gov? Is there any additional cost with the government for?
No, there might be like a $45 fee just for DNS hosting, and that's annually, so it's, you know what I mean, that's a pretty low fee, unless your website provider does it. But yeah, that would be the only other charge. That's why I was trying to piece them together, so you're only paying for it, you know, at the same time. We can include all that labor under one.
And what do we do? Check with our current website provider to see what that,
I can do that for you.
oh, you can?
Yeah, we work with Greenlight all the time, so no problem.
Gotcha.
And Kathy's already
Could you
been
do
aware
that
of this.
and get it back to Alyssa?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've been talking about this project for a couple of years, so Kathy's already got it rolling, she knows. Okay. Any other questions about the email and .gov?
Oh,
Okay. Other recommendations, this was also something that it has been approved, but we can't implement it until your emails are moved over. And that's because we basically connect this product to your email so that it will automatically update as you like add and remove users and things like that. But this is cybersecurity awareness training. Basically, it creates like a easy to use gamified dashboard. So, you know, you're looking at who has the highest score, and you know, it makes it a little bit more interesting for people to actually want to do it.
Yeah.
But basically, 95% of attacks actually come through, you know, somebody making a mistake on their computer. So you accidentally click a link or an attachment or a bad website. So this is just to try to make people more aware of that. But basically, you get weekly, like 3-minute micro trainings that are sent out on Thursdays. Dark web monitoring, so if an email address and, you know, passwords show up on the dark web, then we'll get alerted to that, and we can let you guys know to go in and change those passwords. We can also do simulated phishing tests. We send out fake phishing emails, and you can see who clicks on them, so we know who needs more training. And then it does like an annual, you know, 45-minute training. So, you know, it's not super crazy intensive where you're in their face all the time or anything like that, but it is just recommended for making sure that people are recognizing when emails might be bad or a website might be bad or something like that. That I actually included on your annual service charges. I did the 365 email as well on this, because those have already been approved. We just haven't moved forward with them because we haven't gotten the approval for the .gov yet. But I can also, you know, depending on what you decide, I didn't used to be able to put in the .gov request, but I can now. So whenever you guys approve that, just let me know and I'll go in and set that all up for you. But that total cost is $1,080 annually for the 12 accounts, and that's up to 20 users. The other email related one, we're doing lots of email related things. This is a product that includes very secure email protection, allows for sending encrypted email. So if you have, you know, again, personal information, any kind of PII, you can send that information encrypted. And then an archiving service, which is important for 91A. So for example, right now, and even if we move you to 365, we can perform email searches, but if you permanently delete an item, then it's gone and we can't get to it, right? So in this case, it archives everything for, I believe, a 10-year retention period. So that's beyond your, you know, 7 years that you need for the state. and we get, I can give you guys access to go in and search for things, and, it's all there. So this one is, again, it's actually the same price as the 365 email, so $7.92 a year for that edition. And then the last one is actually to replace your firewall, which is just out of date and past end of life at this point.
Is that a one-time charge, or?
It is, yes. We replace them about every 5 years. And the state is also, they require you with the MAP connection for the town clerk that you have a firewall that's not past end of life, and this one currently is. They're not gonna go shut you off, but, if it came up in some kind of audit, it would come up.
And what's the cost to change the firewall?
So that total cost is $1,200.
Is that a one-time charge?
Yep. I don't know if you want the replacement schedule as well, so you might have a copy.
And I do. I have a copy of all these things
Okay.
too, as well.
The other thing that we had talked about a couple years ago too was possibly, putting in like a server or a network storage device. So rather than having, all of your programs stored on the individual computers, you could have it all stored in one place on a server. That makes a big difference for things like security. Like right now, you only have, local users on the computers. They're not under what's called a domain. And it makes it easier for consolidating backups and things like that. Like basically all your user data and your program data would go on the server instead of on your local system. So like right now, if your computer is off, they can't use the assessment program. And,
Right. Learned that.
Yeah. And same with that now that you would need to.
I've
but-
always had a concern about that.
Yes. So we had talked about, we do offer a total care contract, which includes server installation and then all of the replacements for the computers on a 5-year cycle. It's a 5-year contract, so all we do is take that cost and divide it out over the 60 months. And then you guys would pay, one monthly fee to have everything included. That's what most of my municipalities go with, is that they
Could you
don't get.
do us an estimate on,
Yeah.
and break it down?
Yep.
Because we're also doing our CIP here. Is there any cost break to pay for it all at once?
Not to pay for it all up front. We could, it would depend on what was due that year. I mean, if we could coordinate it with some of the workstation replacements, and we'd save on labor doing it that way. But yeah, otherwise, we don't charge interest or anything. It's literally just the cost. And then you also get, for those 5 years, you're locked into the pricing. So, if prices of hardware shoot up, you're not gonna have to pay the more expensive price because it's already been locked into that contract.
Yeah, send us, an estimate on that.
Yep, I will,
please.
definitely. Yeah, that's what I have for you. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, the other thing I have a question on is the dark web. Do you monitor the dark web for our website and our emails and stuff like that?
We don't now. That's what would be included in that, the cybersecurity training package. That
Right.
also comes with dark web monitoring.
It does,
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Do you want me to revise the annual charges invoice and take out the 365 and then also the cybersecurity training so that you guys can approve it if you want and we can move forward from there? Just to separate them as estimates. I'm not sure if it's easier.
It's already confusing, I'm just trying to.
Okay.
We do both.
What was the
Like,
question?
Would you send us one sheet of paper and give us what we're already gonna pay for?
Yep.
Okay, and then underneath it, what the additional things are
Yes.
that you're recommending.
Yep.
And that'll be easier for
Simple.
us, old guys, to differentiate. And then we'll let you know what we're able to approve and
Okay.
and that sort of thing. Does that work?
Yeah, and that is, like I said, I
Yeah.
mean, I think the 365 and the cybersecurity training might already be in the budget for next year based on,
Well,
or this year actually, based on what Kelly had approved. However,
in 2024,
yes. However,
would you
more-
check that and,
I'm not able to. I don't have access. It would be in your budget information.
okay, all right.
It was just that.
See, our budget doesn't break it down that far.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Is it? On here?
If I send you that breakdown though, that should give you an idea, because
Oh,
then you'll
okay.
be able to
All right.
see, these are our annual charges,
Yeah.
that's what's in that line
Okay.
item, and
All right.
then, if there was anything above that.
Okay.
Just cause yeah, we had been initially waiting on, the approval for .gov, but if you guys, just approve that at the same time. then we can
What are
approve
the-
it.
I haven't looked into that, but, at this point. Are there any disadvantages to going to .gov?
No, there really aren't, I mean,
And you're gonna tell us the truth on that? I suspect the government.
oh, yeah, I can understand that, so, are you familiar with how like domain hosting works or
Yeah.
anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the only thing that they would be able to do is shut down the domain, really. They don't have access to, so when you're using DNS records, that's what tells, say for your email and your website, right?
Yeah.
That's what, say if you put your website name in, it's gonna send it to the IP address of the server where your website is hosted. Same with email. If I send you an email, that's gonna hit your DNS records, which are gonna tell what mail server it needs to go to make it to your inbox. So the government doesn't allow hosting for DNS records on their site. Like, we would host that on a separate vendor. So literally all that they have is that domain, and they can shut it down if they want, but that wouldn't be beneficial for them in any way to shut it down.
And the NSA doesn't get it at all, huh?
Well, I mean, in fairness, if the federal government requested your information, we'd probably have to send it to them anyway. But, with the legal team and all that as
There's
well.
a trust issue there, yeah.
Yeah, I can
Big
understand
one.
that. Yeah. But yeah, that's literally, they don't have, it's not like they have access to your email or anything like that.
Oh, they do.
I mean, just from hosting that domain, but, yeah, and again, we don't have to do the .gov part to move you to the better email system or anything like that, we can leave it on .org. It's just that, that's the
Yeah.
federal, it's, I keep up with state and federal government. And
Where can I get
recommendations.
information on the .gov?
So I.
Do you have access to it? Could you send us a link or something like that?
Yeah, I included a little information sheet, but I can
Okay.
also, there's someone at CISA that I work with often with our municipalities, because they do a lot of assessments for vulnerabilities and stuff like that. I can send you his information, I'm sure he'd be happy to,
Okay.
get into a conversation with you about that. He's gonna know more of the specific cybersecurity details, it's what he does all day, so.
Now I know what you're all about.
Well, so they actually, what they're trying to do is protect municipalities as
Oh,
much
yeah,
as
no,
they
I-
can, right? So, and I understand distrust of the government, absolutely, but, but the reason we utilize them is for one, compliance, in a lot of ways we have to. And for two, they do a lot of things for towns for free, like a lot of these assessments and stuff like
Nothing
that,
is
they'll do
free.
for free.
Nothing.
Just because they're more interested in protecting you from, people that are trying to hack into your systems, and from Russia or from the Middle East or from
I'm
China.
from
or
the government and I'm here to help.
Yes. Yeah, that's the quote, right? You got it.
No. All right, I don't have any other questions.
No, I think, yeah.
Okay,
And if I do, I'm sure we can email them to you.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep,
We won't have you come up here until maybe next year or the year after.
yeah, happy to visit. I send my team up here more often, but
Yeah.
I'm mostly stuck in the office, so.
Thank you for coming.
No,
Yeah.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks
We-
for having me up, I appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
And then, yeah, like I said, annually, I'll come up next year and we can, discuss new recommendations and stuff like that as well.
Awesome.
All right,
All right,
Thank you.
sounds like a plan.
thank you, it's nice to meet everybody, thank
Nice.
you.
Likewise, thank you.
Have a good night. Well, in front of your camera.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should take care of Curtis.
Get him out of here.
Next.
All right, well, then while we jump to that.
Very kind.
Then we're gonna
He's
make him
got
wait.
snow to
Then
get
We're
rid
gonna
of.
make him wait.
No,
Yeah, so on to the next one, Curtis.
Yeah.
Printed out just what we had already.
Perfect. So I think we should just keep the budget as is. So I don't think we should make any changes or add anything to
Okay.
it. We don't need to increase it at all or anything. I think we're doing pretty well. This year we're a little bit under right now.
yeah,
It's all depends on the storms, so $3,000 to $5,000 a storm usually. So we depends on how many storms to finish out the year, but we're looking pretty good. We'll probably come in a little bit under.
you usually do.
Yeah, so yeah, I try to, but it's been a good year. We got a lot done. We paved a bunch of roads and did a lot of work, so we're actually in really good shape.
Haven't heard any complaints at all.
Yeah, well, we shoot for a 99% satisfaction rate, so.
Well, there's still a little teeny bit of room
You
for
know,
improvement.
there's always a 1%. So yeah, no.
Are you doing any brining still, or?
We are, our truck is broke, so we're gonna, after this storm, we're gonna be all set,
Yeah.
so.
Is that working?
Yeah,
I mean, I've been out of the loop here for a bit.
So we, the whole theory behind it is it reduces the amount of salt you use, right? Because it doesn't, there's not salt in the ditch, so it's environmentally good. We still send our guys to the Department of Environmental Service, like salt reduction thing, to get trained on how to apply it right and not, not salt the ditches and things like that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
in the years past have been problems for towns and municipalities, but I think the brine works really
Yeah,
well.
no, I thought a lot of it last
Yeah,
time I was here.
I mean, it stays right on the road, doesn't go into the stormwater, it's,
Well, if you can get it on, I guess, and get it to dry before the
Yeah.
snow hits is the big advantage.
I like the fact that it's there when the snow hits.
Yeah.
It's not like, we're responding late and there's
Yeah.
slippery roads. It's,
yeah, it buys us a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So we don't get caught, so, but,
And I would imagine it helps with the ice adhering to the pavement too.
it seems like it does clean up a lot easier at the end of the storm also.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the environmental movement has pushed it forever, so pushed it pretty hard for the last 15 years, so it, I think it works pretty good, yeah, so. I mean, you're still gonna have to do the old fashioned way too, but in that sense, we try to get the guys to, keep them trained.
Any long range issues coming up?
Not
I mean, I'm
really.
thinking more CIP right now.
So, I mean, we got, I'd like to, I'm gonna probably ask for another warrant article to do another $100,000 worth of paving. I think that if we do it one more time, we'll be able to pave Stacy Lane and Brookside, and then the normal budget will be able to take care of us for, I think, a year or two. We won't have to do it
Okay.
again. And I think it would be a good.
And that'll be just a regular warrant article.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
So outside the budget, as far as the CIP, I mean, we have $46,000 in a grant to fix our bridges. So there's a bridge on Drake Hill Road that's got some issues right before the hill, whatever that brook is. I'm not gonna remember it, but we got to work on that next summer. But I think we can use that
money.
state money, which is, we have to use it for bridge work. So that's there, and that will cover the
Now,
cost.
the Drake Hill Bridge that we've been saving for the state for umpteen years here.
So that
What is the latest status on that?
So that program, they've kind
I know.
of scrapped it, right?
Oh.
So there's a certain amount of money in there, and I don't know exactly how much. I can't remember how much is in there, but
Right.
whatever's in there, we should, I think, down the road, if we want to do it ourselves, there's other options.
Well, the question I was gonna get at, is there we had an engineer or you had an engineer come down and gave us a full report several years ago. Is there any Band-Aids that we can put on that just to
Well-
prolong any of the deterioration?
So one thing that we've done, like, the town of Tamworth has done a couple bridge projects that are similar of nature for about 25% of the costs that the Drake Hill Road Bridge, the red listed bridge on Drake Hill Road, came in at. And it's a steel bridge that you buy and then they ship to you and then you install it. It's like a 2-day thing or 3-day thing, and it's like 25 or 30% of the cost. So I think we have almost enough money to do that.
It says 109, does that sound right?
Yeah, 109.
Balance.
So maybe we don't. I thought we had 209, but so 109. Okay.
Well, unless I'm looking at it wrong, current balance is 9/17/2024, 109.9.
Okay, so we would have to probably a little bit more than that, but that's a good option, and I think that's the way we should do. I think we should go. There's a specific engineer.
Now, does that qualify to take us off the red list?
Yeah.
of
Oh
bridges?
yeah. It would be a great bridge. And Bruce Knox, who's an engineer that worked for the town of
Yeah,
Tamworth.
he was the guy that did the engineering for, wasn't it?
I thought it was HEB that did.
No, it wasn't H.
It wasn't?
No, it was.
Was it Knox?
Knox.
So
Rings a
he'd
bell.
been helping, I know the town, because we were involved a little bit with that project in the town of Tamworth also. So that's the only reason I know, but he was involved with engineering on it and it was pretty reasonable. And it might be an avenue that we could go put a bridge in for a lot less than what we originally had thought. And then we wouldn't have.
Could you look into
Yeah.
that a little bit?
Yeah, because we have all the information, because we actually ordered the bridge for the
Oh,
town
is that
of
right?
Tamworth, so we know what it is, and
Who installed it? You?
we did,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was like a 3 or 4 day project.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, and it was a fraction of the cost, so that's an idea, you know, and so we don't have to just have a big construction project and $1 million bridge, and it's just a big waste of money, and I don't think we need to. Yeah,
Sounds good.
so,
What about Dugway Road? I know that's been looked at before, and it's got.
so,
Do we have like a emergency plan or something?
so like the narrows on the Pascal.
Yeah, the narrows there where it's dipping down and.
So, I mean, Jim, for almost
Yeah.
30 years, we've just filled that in. Every
Right,
time
yeah.
it does that, we just.
Yeah,
fill it in.
I live with them. It's always been there, so I.
Yeah,
should know
I
if
mean,
there was a
it
concern.
settled a little bit
Yeah.
this year, like more than, but I walked down kind of over the bank and it didn't,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old carriage road,
Yeah.
obviously, but it didn't seem like it bothered a whole lot.
Right.
We filled it back in and we
Yeah.
shimmed it back, and
Seems
I
like-
mean, I don't really think we're gonna have
So
much of it.
regular maintenance and where.
Just regular
yeah.
maintenance. I mean, it always bothers people from newer people to the town.
Right.
Because they look down over the bank and they see, oh my gosh, it's kind of,
Well, it's the logging operations.
that didn't help it. It's,
But I grew up on the road and it's been there since
No, I know.
I was a toddler, so, yeah.
yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, they just, when they cut that, I mean, it was an old carriage road. I mean,
I know.
Pascal, it was just, that's what it was.
What it
So,
looks like.
Yeah.
yeah, so it just kind of settles a little bit, sometimes a little more than others, and we just fix it. And if you're from Beacon Hill, it might bother you a little more than if you're from Pascoma Road, so I don't know.
Don't move there.
But I just, we just fill it in. So we looked at, we did that, the Scenic Byways grant, we looked into that, and
Well,
there was a lot
looked
of.
into the flat thing and we had them come up and do their
Yeah.
core drillings.
Yeah, and they want
You know.
to, the feds want to shut down the road, and
Yeah.
I told them flat out they
yeah.
couldn't. I mean, it's,
So we have the covered bridge on one end, we have the community up there, so we can't shut the road down.
I mean, like I told them, is there any logging road that they could turn around and make a bypass around the area temporarily? And they didn't even want to go there.
No, but that,
There is a road that they could use.
yeah. Yeah.
It would take a grader and a few dump trucks of,
Yeah, it would take a little bit, that's for sure.
Yeah.
My experience with the forests are, well, there are a lot of really great people work there, but there's a lot of levels of bureaucracy to get to any type of decision making.
A lot of red tape.
Yeah, so, I don't know if we'll all live long enough
I
to
mean,
make that
when we
happen.
started that flap grant, if you remember, I forget the person's name over at their main office over there, was the one that recommended it. I think if the 2 or 3 people that were originally involved over there didn't retire, we probably would have made better headway with the
Yeah.
flap grant. What happened is shortly after we got involved in that, they retired. And we got all new people, and it was like talking with people that were deaf.
So I mean, we have that money that's from the matching, the 20%
Right.
match on Drake Hill Road. So that might, I mean, I don't know what, I can't remember what
Should
the
we-
board is. That might go into the capital highway reserve fund.
Well, we'd have to get a vote of the people.
Right,
I
really,
think.
yeah.
Well, I haven't looked at any of the CIP stuff yet. I'll look into it, but we should do something with that money and use it.
Yeah, it should
Not
almost
let it-
go into the capital highway reserve fund and then just. board.
Well, you know, if you want $100,000 for next year to do some more paving, we ought to look at it and see what's in it and transfer it into a fund that we could utilize.
Yeah, you can do it that way too.
Yeah.
I mean, you might, I don't know if we wanna save for the Draco Road thing.
What's the
In-
timeline on that? Is there, or is there?
I don't know, I keep going underneath that bridge and it has not
Well, it's like
changed.
the you know when I snicker
Yeah, I
about the
do.
10-year plan?
Yeah.
I snicker about the bridge plan
Okay,
too.
so it's not a crisis.
I mean, it's a red, we have 2 red listed bridges in the town, one of them's a
One of
covered bridge because it's wood, but it's actually a beautiful bridge, so that's just a bureaucracy thing. They have to do wood bridges red listed, so I guess, and then it's that bridge, but our bridge hasn't changed a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, it has the old fashioned head walls on it, that's a mixed mortar, I mean, the concrete has rocks in it this big, I mean, they actually they built the bridge from the material right there.
Right.
I mean, it's
Well,
pretty
if
unique,
If I remember
but it's still
the pictures, there was some deterioration and some of the re-rod and stuff on the bottom
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
roadway was showing.
right, and that hasn't really changed, so that's.
Is there any way you can put a Band-Aid on that?
Yeah.
You know, get under there and
Probably.
cover it with some cement or something like that?
Yeah,
I mean-
you would have to kind of.
I mean, if it's structurally sound for what we're using it for, I mean, if we could prolong it for another 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, well, I think it's fine that way anyway, but I think we would have to kind of do a little bit. So the concrete is permeable, right? So what's happened is the salt permeates down through the
Right.
deck. Even though that's paved over it, asphalt is also permeable.
Right.
So it comes down through the deck and it creates the rebar in it, because in those days they didn't have like the coated rebar that you see, it's like green.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have that in those days, so that's why it's happening. But we might be able to do that. I mean, they just did it on the West Side Road. You know, you see like when they're like shut half a bridge down and they like cut it all up and they like sandblast and put new rods in.
Yeah.
You might be able to do that underneath on that. I'm sure you could. I know you could. But we might have to shut the bridge down for a bit to do it. So that's the only.
How long would you think it would take to do something?
I don't know. I'd have to kind of do a little more research. But I think you could, 2 or 3 weeks, you probably could.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's no entrance. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
you can go
you go around, but,
I mean, you know how it is. People will gripe. But
well, if, I can listen to people gripe for 3 or 4 weeks.
yeah, right. No,
You know, if it resolves the problem.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You know?
right. And it might save us a bunch of
And a
money.
lot of people, in this position, I found that if you just talk to people and explain the situation to them, a lot of them understand it.
Yeah, I know. So we could in the spring, we could spend some time and see how bad the concrete is deteriorating.
All right,
And that's,
all right.
that's about it.
We'll
That's all I got.
leave your budget the way it is.
Yeah, leave it the way it
Okay.
is. Thank you for the tax rate, guys. Looks great.
The what?
Thank you for the tax rate. Good job.
Yeah.
It's all about the selectmen, right?
Well, a lot of people are involved. I mean,
It's
It's a
good.
team.
you're
Yeah.
involved, I mean.
No, hey, we got the best town in the
Everybody
valley.
that has an expense account is involved in it,
We got the best town in the valley as far as that goes, so we spend money when we think it's right and we don't waste it, so. But And tell Kelly he needs to show up to more meetings. Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
Take care.
All right,
That resolves one section.
then we'll jump up to what? Number 3, new
Well,
business.
Mr. Chairman, now it's
All
your
right,
game.
let's run this roll. Approval of the Selectmen's meeting minutes for November 20th, 2024, including 2 sets of non-public minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as presented for all 3 sets of minutes.
I second that.
And I have no discussion, I think Elisa did a nice job.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of December 5, 2024 consent file. Review and sign manifest in the amount of $157,476.85 and $329,518.93. This includes an accounts payable and payroll manifest for 11/27/24 and 12/3/24.
And just an explanation for the camera, that was big payments to both the school
School,
and what was the other one?
the county for
County
taxes.
for taxes.
A lot of the warrant articles got paid.
And we pay all the warrant articles at the end of the year, so that's why that is humongous.
Okay, review and discuss and sign 2024 municipal assessment data certificate.
Yep, Jason sent that, he said he just needed it signed and he would handle it with DRA.
Review, discuss, approve, deny, and sign tax abatement for 154 Golden Oaks Road.
That was the tax deeded property.
Yeah.
We don't wanna tax ourselves.
Right. Let's see, review and discuss approval for operation of individual sewage disposal system for 12 Tabor Circle. And then F, review and discuss approval for subdivision of land Habitat for Humanity subdivision.
Just an explanation on the letter F for humanity, or Habitat for Humanity subdivision. That is not an approval for the subdivision of land, it's an approval for the sewage disposal system for the subdivision of land. That's the way I read all this document. I'll make a motion to approve the consent file as presented.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I would just make a note in the minutes on that letter F, that that's not an approval for the subdivision.
I just.
We're not the planning board, it's the planning board.
No, I just wanted you guys to lay eyes on it.
It put sewerage in there somewhere.
Okay,
It's no different than the one above it, really.
right,
And we can't really deny those because that's a state.
State approved.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
basically what they're doing is letting us know they're doing it. And we approve that.
okay.
All right, moving on, town administrators report.
I really don't have anything new besides the gentleman that had already come
Right.
on.
Yep, we took care of that.
All right, and then, is Sandy coming, or?
She is running late, she said she'd text me
Okay.
when she got back, if we were still going, I'd let her know.
All right,
Don't know that she'll make it tonight.
Keep moving.
all right, other business, actually, there's no old business, other business, planning board hasn't met since our last meeting. Conservation Commission, I don't know that there's anything there.
No, they have a meeting coming up,
Yeah.
so I don't think they've met.
Yeah, solid waste, we're not meeting until January.
January something, yeah. And the chapel committee, review and discuss chapel committee meeting minutes from November 19, 2024 meeting. The only thing is, Amalia, we gotta get her spelling right on her name.
Okay,
I think I did it wrong.
alright, I'll go.
It's an A, and
That's
I feel bad, 'cause
That's an easy one.
yeah, yeah,
Apologize
yes.
profusely.
AMA, yeah. But other than that, let's, I don't know when the next meeting is.
Well, under other, I'd like to propose that we appoint Sarah Knox to be our Albany representative to the North Country Council. Just an explanation, I spoke with her, voting, and she sent me an email today and said that she was interested in being the representative to the North Country Council. And I told her to send me an email requesting that, and I told her I would bring that up. This is your copy.
So she'll go to those meetings
She will
for
go
us
to those
and
meetings and
kind
report.
of report back to us?
Yeah.
That'd be great, 'cause
I think she's been our rep
Yep.
for them before. I know Steve was before he
Yeah.
passed away and whatnot. And Sarah's good people.
She's very good, yes.
And she'll represent us well.
Yep.
And she was also our representative, I think, to the Economic Council for quite a while.
Yep.
So I would recommend, I would make a motion to appoint her as our representative to North Country Council.
I can second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're doing good, Jim.
We're doing good. Yeah.
You're doing good.
All right.
And just, she'd have to come in and do the swearing in and all that type of stuff.
It's nice to see some more involvement, more help.
Yeah, I
and-
mean,
and,
it's, if everybody did a little bit, we
Yeah.
wouldn't have to do anything.
That's the goal, right? No. All right, number 9, correspondence. Review and discuss Carroll County fiscal year 25 proposed budget. Send.
We have no control over that.
No,
Right.
That
just
is
to lay eyes
just
on
to
That is
do
a
it.
Yeah.
delegation.
I sent it separately
Yeah.
out to
Yeah.
you guys.
Yep, and I looked at it.
Yeah, something like that, you don't have to make copies of, just send the file.
Okay,
It's not worth cutting trees down for.
gotcha.
Because if they don't approve it, there'll be more trees. to
Yeah, no,
cut
that
down.
that one they mailed to us, I just scanned it and, so that's the
Yeah,
original.
no, I mean, the electronic file, and now that he's got a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also, so I can not have to have a packet. I don't know.
We'd
Well,
also,
I take her packets the night before usually, and I just go through them, and
Yeah.
that's why I can make
Well, I
motions
get it in
right
an
away.
email the day before and I go through
Yeah.
it and that way I can have it here and I won't need to pack it printed for me, so we can save some paper, save a couple trees and. Yep,
so the next meeting, it is scheduled for December 18th. We did have that budget workshop tomorrow. We're thinking canceling that, a couple of reasons. One, the weather coming in, two, Kelly can't make it.
okay.
So I don't know if you guys have a better day. Next week, I would be available Monday or Thursday.
We need to get it done.
What's, I know our accomplishment, our goal is to get the budget figured out, but
We need to get it done by the end of December at the latest.
yeah.
I mean, I can reach out to Kelly, see how he's doing on Monday, see what, you know,
Yeah.
what he thinks as far as.
You know, I mean, we don't have to vote on the budget right away. I mean, we need to go through this budget line by line.
And see what we need
And
to
fill
figure
in
out.
the blank. I mean, the
Make that
last
hit list,
copy,
right?
Sure.
the last copy that I got, it still had a lot of blank spaces in it,
Yeah,
you know, that need to be filled in.
Right.
You know, and then we need to start looking at, you know, are we up, are we down from last year?
Right.
What is our priority,
yeah.
et cetera. But, you know, we haven't even gone through this line by line
Right.
to fill in the blank spaces. You know, and we've got some decisions to make.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean, the warrant articles can wait till right after the first of the year for the most part. but
Yeah.
The selectmen are responsible for our warrant articles that we've gotta put out. And we have to have public hearings on the budget, and we have to have public hearings on the warrant.
We have to vote on the budget to be
Yes.
presented, so.
But we don't have to vote on the budget until after we have a public hearing. But we have to have a budget to present at the
Right.
public hearing.
Right.
And then we go from public hearing, I mean, if we're
Well, it's back.
if history repeats itself, we may get 1 or 2 people show up at a budget hearing.
So our last meeting is the 18th of December,
Right.
so you're saying that should be the,
Well, that is
We can
also
have our
that
public hearing,
yeah,
for.
right, so,
We could have our public hearing in January,
okay.
but we need to have a budget that we can present for public hearing. And to let the people of the town know what we're thinking with
Yeah.
regards to what we wanna spend their money on.
Well, and I think too, just like how we were gonna do tomorrow, it doesn't have to be a Wednesday night,
No.
scheduled selectmen meeting.
It's a special, it's a meeting at the call of the chair, so it could be, we could do it on Sundays.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying, but we're not
So if you
married
guys
to.
want, I can reach out to Kelly on Monday and see how he's feeling, and reach out to you guys, see what the availability is, try and pull it off next week if
Yeah.
possible.
So I won't be available until, well, I might make the CIP meeting on the 11th
Yeah.
at 5:30 if I'm back in town in time.
It should be a 10-minute meeting.
I know, but I might not be in town till, I'm going out of town, so.
So I will
I
reach,
don't know what time I'll be back.
I can reach out
And
to
all the
everyone.
selectmen,
for that.
well, all the selectmen don't have to go to that. In fact, they don't,
Right.
they shouldn't. There should be just a representative
Plan on
of,
going.
of the select board. And if you can't go,
So if it's not this
either
week,
Kelly or I could go. I
Yeah.
mean, if Kelly isn't up
Kelly
to it,
planned on going anyways.
Yeah, he did.
Kelly planned
say
on
this
going
morning.
anyways.
you know, I mean, it's,
Um,
their decisions are just to prioritize what's
Yeah.
going on in the next 5 to 6 years and make recommendations to us. We have the final say as the select board here,
right,
but that's separate from the CIP.
right. So I guess to figure out a time to do the budget meeting, if it's not.
Right now,
this-
the budget's the most
If it's
important.
not this week, then it's gotta be Thursday or Friday of next week. Should be, because we won't have time on the 18th. With this state meeting, the state,
Public hearing, yeah.
That shouldn't have been scheduled.
this time of year, yeah.
That shouldn't be scheduled. That could have easily waited till after the first of the year.
I was surprised it was so soon.
Yeah,
You know, the budget is more important than that.
yeah.
So if you want, I can reach out to everybody Monday and see where we're all at and try
Yeah,
and figure out time and day.
sometime between next Thursday.
You can't
and
make
18th.
you can't make the 11th. What,
I might be able to make the 11th.
how long are you gonna be gone? I mean,
Leaving Sunday, driving back into town, hopefully landing in town from work to drop me off at the meeting as you drive by.
well, no, I mean,
That was the
how
hope,
about scheduling it for Thursday or Friday then?
of next week?
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Thursday would work for me too, and I can reach out and see if it'll work for Kelly, so.
Yeah.
You know, and
Tentatively,
if,
But
Well-
and if we had to do it Friday,
it doesn't need all three of us either. For this first meeting, we need to get this stuff figured out.
we have to
and
have a
then-
quorum for the meeting.
Right,
Yeah.
but after that is when once we have
Oh,
it in
yeah,
place,
no.
we wanna make sure we're all.
Anything
three on
can be
board.
changed
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that.
So even if Kelly can't, we should still,
We should,
which means we could do it tomorrow if we wanted to. It doesn't matter to me.
I'll do it tomorrow, I have no problem. You know, the thing I would suggest because of her and her travel,
Yeah.
okay?
yeah, we're
so
not
maybe-
looking to do it.
I would recommend that we don't cancel that meeting until tomorrow and see what the weather is. I mean, we're going on weather reports.
So, no.
They-
I mean, we can play it by ear, but I just wanna be honest with you guys, I am super nervous.
No, that's
I
fine. Yeah.
No,
lost
no,
somebody
no.
very
Wouldn't want
close
you,
to me on 16 with
yeah.
this type of weather,
Yeah.
not even a year, so
Yeah.
I just don't, unless it is really, really good, I'm
Well,
out.
well-
If it's good, I'll come in. If it's
Well, that's
fine,
why
I'm
I'm
going to try.
thinking, why don't you make the decision as chairman tomorrow morning? And, and
Yeah.
see what the weather is.
Okay.
I mean, they started out
You're in
predicting,
tomorrow anyways, or not?
I was gonna work from home tomorrow
Yeah,
because
so,
of the
well,
weather.
you're
My
not-
kids get a snow day.
Nah, she's not gonna be in, there's no sense making her drive up here to do it tomorrow. So we do it the following Thursday.
That'll be fun. That
And we
also
can
gives
hope
me
Kelly
and
can-
Kelly Collins time
Okay.
to fill in some of the
Yeah,
blanks
no,
there,
that makes-
because I have
all right, I'm
gotten, Parks and Rec, I have gotten the Sheriff's Department, different departments we've gotten that we haven't even
Fill-
gotten input yet.
Fill in as much as you can, because that'll help us at the meeting and make
Right.
it
Yeah, I
shorter.
was gonna say, is there a way?
Because some of them are not negotiable. I mean,
Right.
when the sheriff gives us a price, we just need to decide how many shifts we're
Yeah.
gonna have.
Can you highlight what we're, as you're going down with Kelly, what we need to focus on?
I'm sure we could, and then she has also offered to like call in
Call in.
when we do it
Yeah.
and be on too, which would
Yep.
be super helpful.
Yep, yep, we could do that.
So,
Let's do it next Thursday.
Okay, that would be the.
That good?
12, yeah, I already have it written down.
12/12. At,
You're the chair.
it's Thursday, you'd be here
Well,
anyway, so.
Yeah.
4:30?
We could do it earlier if people can get here earlier. I mean,
I can get here early.
I can get out of work anytime now.
well, no, I can do it at any time too. I mean,
Kelly won't be able to, so, but he'll be working, so, I don't know what his earliest time is.
yeah,
4, do you think you could make it 4? I can ask
I
him.
think so, I think he can do 4. Let's put it in at 4 and, double check with Kelly, and
Alright.
if for some reason he says no, 4:30, then.
Alright.
yeah, and it doesn't have, I don't think it really needs to be video per se. I mean, it's a work session.
It's a work
Right.
session,
It's not an actual meeting, it's a work
Okay.
session.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, Alyssa, you'll just keep Bill updated like you have been.
Yep. Yep,
Yeah,
that
I
works.
like that, and then get it
I mean,
on. 'cause-
Post it as a work session because we're gonna have a quorum. So if
Right.
anybody
Right.
wants to attend in person, they can, but
Yeah,
it's just a work session, and post it as a work session to work on the 2025 budget.
right, yeah, I like it. We'll get it done.
Alright.
I knew last year we had trouble with,
Excuse me.
well, then maybe that was more for the, warrant articles. People putting the paperwork properly and submitting things.
That's the one.
Yeah, but that's, if they're submitted warrant articles, I mean, it's up to them to get the word.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
And if they get it to us soon enough and we submit it to Michelle, they can correct any wording issues.
all right.
And then potentially, if we are able to start at 4, maybe Sandy could jump into the beginning of that one.
What's that?
For Sandy's information, yeah,
Yeah,
for her
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we could.
so I will reach out to her as well.
So that means our next meeting / workshop session will be December 12th
Yep,
at 4 o'clock. Instead of the next meeting being December 18th,
yep.
The next regular meeting will be the 18th.
December 18th,
Right.
yeah, 4:30, yeah. And I make a motion to adjourn at 5:28.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.